Shout out to Game Over 30 for finally coming in to, clean this up a little bit. Because when it comes to financial statements, it is not my strong suit. I'm telling you. I really got to have everything like, okay, can you please say this in alphabets? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. My brain, really has to kind of parse everything. So he pointed a lot of this stuff out. Because when the thing came out, he said I think he had a family commitment. And then I saw that he had updated it. But at that point, I'm like, nah, I'm going to sit here and play FIFA. I was already playing FIFA on my Xbox handheld while using Twitter on my desktop in my living room on my couch. Yeah. My gaming PC. Yeah. That's weird. I know. Social media and the time consumption and, whatever. And then also shout out to Everborn Saga for saying, hey, VG, look at this. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to look at it. Microsoft's released their Q1 fiscal year 26 earnings. Let's take a look at their gaming numbers. Total gaming revenue declined 2% year over year against a strong comparable, whatever you want to call it. Xbox content and services, the tracking metric was 1% up year over year. Guidance originally pinned CNS as down a few points. This also set a content and services record for Q1. Highlights included growth in Xbox Game Pass and third-party offset by a decline in first-party content. Hardware revenue declined 29% year over year. And then Minecraft reached 155 million monthly active users. Ladies and gentlemen, that is already... Just Minecraft alone is already competing with the MAUs. Oh, look at my alarm. Minecraft's already competing with the MAUs of PlayStation. This is bonkers. New record for users engaged via PC. We like a good deal. More personal gaming computing operating margin came in at 30%. I thought y'all were saying that 30% was blah, 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 blah. You got to be very careful when you're talking about these companies, when they're shooting for 30% or when they're shooting for their margins, they probably already have a threshold that they see that they can stand on and a possibility that they can actually touch this 30% margin. However many of you are, wanting to talk about it now. I remember I was laughing because, Amy Hilder talked about how they desired it back like in 2023. So they've actually been working towards it for going on 2 years now, depending on whatever it is, or maybe even they've been working at it for a long time, and it even came in that they ran their numbers and probably saw that there's a possibility to do it with Bethesda and Activision Blizzard purchases as well. So, I mean, so I guess they're hitting it in this area anyways. And in Xbox content and services, we expect revenue to decline in low to mid single digits against a prior year comparable that benefited the firms. That benefited from strong first-party performance, partially offset by growth in subscriptions, and hardware revenue should decline year over year. So they already know where they stand. They're not, sitting there and dreaming. But here's the weird thing. When I look around and see the way that this has all been interpreted, I got to laugh and say, come on now. Why are y'all not pointing out that PlayStation has pretty much decided that it's going to chase multi-generational MAUs? Yes, Lynn Azar's words, multi-generational MAUs, meaning they're going to farm activity from PS4, PS5, and likely farm activity alongside PS6, right? And the monthly active user base of Xbox is growing on many fronts, even while not having, right, the same number of consoles sold. Xbox has absolutely run circles around PlayStation. While PlayStation is selling the hardware, Xbox is using that and leveraging that hardware to stay competitive and to make money. I told y'all, I think it was a few weeks ago, a member of our church was trying to give away a monitor because they bought a PS5 and they were like, this PS5 is not going to connect to the inputs of the monitor. So, the family went in. I mean, this is not one of the kids in the family. The kid in the family, uses their cell phone. They are a they're a Gen Alpha, Gen Z, or whatever it is. I know that because they're the demographics that I actually, work with and teach. They're not going to touch a console for anything. TikTok is already there. It ain't changing. Maybe Roblox or whatever on the phone with the friends. It ain't changing. Get out of here. And so the couple, one of them wanted to go ahead and play Minecraft, and they bought a PS5, and that's all they're playing on that PS5. So I am not surprised. In fact, when they were saying that, they were like, oh, yeah, I wanted to just, play Minecraft because I'm a nerd. I was like, man, I would not have even thought that this person even played video games. And that's all they wanted to play, Minecraft. So, again, this is different multi-generational game platform. Xbox is already leveraging this on many fronts. This is where PlayStation is not just behind, but light years behind. Light years behind. If we search their MAUs currently, you're going to see that just one Xbox title is actually frying this thing. And in the Piscatella 15, Minecraft had actually been going down in terms of the active user base that's been playing it. But again, Minecraft does have an economy outside of PlayStation as well that's quite thriving and that's quite significant. So what's going on here? Well, I think their business, hedging themselves and diversifying, has been really, really vital for them. The growth that they're seeing in PC, the growth that they're seeing in their MAUs depending on the game, the growth that they're eventually going to realize annually from Call of Duty's revenue, those Q2, Q3 numbers that usually get bolstered by the extra influx of revenue that comes in, that's going to be very interesting. And then even now, their efforts starting to expand more into the PC ecosystem. I'm not just talking about their Windows. I'm talking about things like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, right? Actually coming and actually going to places like Good Old Games. That right there is absolutely wild, right? That's absolutely wild at the end of the day. So right now, even though, Inside Gaming, the way Insider Gaming wrote their article and said Xbox revenue falls 113 million year over year, they still note that regardless, the Microsoft numbers are not as bad as the company announced. Its operating income was 24% to $38 billion, while it saw 12% total net income increase to $27.7 billion. They're here to stay. They're now within Sony's brake lights. You know what I mean? And honestly, because of the shaping of the gaming industry, I strongly believe that these guys are here to, and they've now understood the tech. This Halo game that's coming to PlayStation, many of you are like, oh, it's a single player Halo game. My dude, they are rehashing like a 20-something-year-old game, and then they already made the announcement. Their intent, do you not hear me? Their intent was already put out there immediately, which was, from now on, Halo is going to be, on PlayStation going forward. That's it. So they want to go ahead and push Halo into the MAU farming category. PlayStation games are going to receive stiff competition from these kinds of titles that are out here. I saw PlayStation fanboys do the unthinkable. They celebrated a potential 2 million unit sales of a video game and called it a win. Now, not saying it's not a win, but it sure is a downgraded win compared to the things that we were seeing, like, say, in 2021, 2022. As games like Horizon Zero Dawn, as games like God of War Ragnarok, those games actually did decently well. But Helldivers 2 was the game that actually showed those games off. So showed them up. With Spider-Man even basically falling short of Helldivers 2's sales. That tells you exactly where the money, the green is actually right there and is no longer in that pillar of spending multi-million-dollar, budgets to build these games. So I guess we'll keep an eye out. And as the pundits were lying to you in the month of October and telling you all kinds of fugazi, you can now peel through the layers and see that Xbox is not interested in leaving this gaming landscape to Nintendo and PlayStation. No. Those two don't want to, they want to pretend like they don't want to touch PC. So Xbox is going to go live there and still be a thorn in their console side. That's what the business is going to look like. And I've been telling you for a long time, but some of you, you probably thought, oh, no, they're going to have to abandon it because it sold only 30 million units. Okay. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.